Okay, Lady Ada, what is this?
Hello and welcome to Show and Tell. That's our half hour of fun that we do every single Wednesday. It's me, Lady Ada. With me is Phil, the camera control. We also have Pyportal here. Special guest, double the fun, double the pleasure, double the engineer. That's right. Double the yar.
Welcome back. You were here a couple years ago on the show.
Almost to the day.
Yeah, it was.
Because it was before Maker.
I looked in my past.
I almost wore the same T-shirt by mistake, and it's like, whoa, no.
Well, I don't think anyone would.
But thanks for joining us for Show and Tell. And then you're going to also be on Ask an Engineer. We're going to talk about all sorts of stuff.
Gaming,
and you're
hardware.
You're going to be showing some stuff off.
Absolutely.
Too, But if there's time, maybe we'll show a couple things.
This is Show and Tell.
Here. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to kick it off with some Adafruit folks who have all sorts of stuff going on.
Let's start with
Scott. Do you want to start out?
Sure. I'm currently a Game Boy and a pibadge. That's what I've changed into.
Yay.
First and foremost, if people are not using 4.0 RC3, which I released yesterday, please do. We think it's going to be the next stable release of CircuitPython. So if you can find a bug for us, that would be awesome. And I have been moving on to doing gaming stuff. So I wanted to show, I had this demo at PyCon with me, which is the Game Boy Celeste. So if I can actually play, I don't know how well you can see it, but the frame rate's relatively good.
Yeah.
I can see your little character.
Yeah.
I mean, the Game Boy didn't have a lot of colors.
No, and I have it working on Game Boy Color too, but yeah, that would be easier to see for sure.
Passive matrix.
Yeah, for some reason the frame rate's actually better on the Game Boy than it is on the color. So yeah. That's more of a I got to the next level.
Wow.
It actually worked.
Maybe it's a little easier too because it's so slow. You can time your jumps.
It definitely is easier when it's slower. I think it crashed now. So I'm working on that, and then I also have the same code basically running on the pibadge as well. So if I hit start, it will do the animation on the menu, and you'll see that it pulls up the map here. And so this is the same map.
Way easier to see.
Yeah, I bet. So this is a full frame refresh right now. So what I'm working on is making the display stuff fast. So consider this the benchmark for how quickly it's running right now.
Okay.
And then hopefully
we're going to check in with you.
We'll check in next week, and it will be either too fast or just right.
Too fast.
The game gets really hard if it's too fast. So yeah, that's what I'm working on.
It's gonna just get some timer action in there. Oh, double jump.
There's a secret. Yeah, that was my dash. I don't have the hair color changing yet, but we'll get there. And then
this is actually in CircuitPython. All of this. Just people wondering, what are you running?
Right. So I took the Pico 8 version of Celeste that's written in Lua, and I ported it to Python. So
which is not too bad. Lua. I was actually reading about Lua. It's not that different. You're doing Lua stuff.
No, it wasn't too bad. I think the trickiest part is that Pico 8 is very imperative, where it's just like when you're drawing the screen, you're just saying like draw this, draw this, draw this, draw this, draw this. When the APIs that we have for CircuitPython are a lot more object oriented, so it's like this thing moves from frame to frame this way.
Yeah, it's like you draw the entire frame every time.
But I can get the strawberry.
Get the strawberry. All right. Next up, we're going to check in with strawberry. No, I mean paint your strawberry, Philby, paint your dragon. What are you also doing graphic stuff?
I am doing graphic stuff. Let me switch cameras here. Did that work? There. Okay, we're switching cameras. Good. Last week I was showing animated GIFs on the pyportal, and they were like doing a full screen one. It just wasn't quite there. It was close, but it was chunky. So Lady Ada and I have been kind of tag team finding places to optimize things, and we were working in the SD card library adding DMA support. So now we've got DMA from the card and to the screen, and we're playing back. This is not a GIF. This is a video that's been pre-converted, but we can do it like super smooth, real time, not dropping frames at 15 frames a second. So
we did the math. That's actually as fast as you can read from the SD card.
Right, it's right at the edge. Yeah. So We might be able to squeeze some audio in there as well. We'll see what happens, or we might need to change the frame rate or letterbox the video slightly in order to get both video and sound going. But it's very smooth, and I'm excited, because a lot of people are starting to wear these as like conference badges, and so that's great. It'll be like when you go to the gas station and they're playing ads while you're pumping your gas.
Yeah.
Now you can have that on your conference badge.
Oh, so as people talk to you, you can have all sorts of like ads for like creams and junk food and
Yeah.
Wayfair.com.
I'm looking forward to the first TED Talk speaker who wears their TED Talk on their TED Talk.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's TED Talks all the way down. So that's what we got going, and maybe next show and tell we'll have audio going as well.
Yes, we have to get to that. I think it's possible
That's
now
super
that
cool.
we
I
have
think
to.
so.
But the nice thing with this video is it's uncompressed, which means it takes a long time to read, but the quality is really nice. You don't get JPEG artifacts, which we were getting, or GIF artifacts.
Yeah, the colors are very true. You don't get all the dithering crap going.
Okay. So much dragon painting.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Next up, Noe+Pedro.
Hey, what's up, folks?
Hey, guys.
We got ourselves a pibadge as well. So this morning we did a 3D hangout. We shared our little 3D printed case that Pedro put together. His
This one?
Yeah, you got that? Yeah.
Yep, so I got this version. It has little hooks on top, so you can add our very fancy Circuit Playground themed lanyard there. We've got a little button inside here. Have space for the speaker and the battery on the back. And of course, all the cutouts for all the ports, the slide switch, and little ports on the back here. But I don't have the pibadge in here because I want to show off the one that Noe
Yeah.
made.
Yeah, so I put together the snap fit version. So this one, here I have another copy of it. This one has these like indentations on the side here to know where the snap fits are. So these clamp together, and you can kind of take them apart by pushing on these little edges here. And they open like that. So two-piece conclosure. And they're printed in PLA, so they're translucent. So you kind of see the awesome silk screen by Philip Burgess there, Paint Your Dragon. So I'm going to turn it on now, and I have this notch here that I cut out here. When you're doing snap fit features, you kind of need real estate. You need some space in between the case and the edge of the PCB. So when you do that, you won't have any room for your lovely USB port. So I have this notch going in there. It kind of gives it a neat shape to it. And I've been playing with Makecode. Makecode is amazing. And I put together this little... So there's these built-in tutorials, right? And they're super easy to kind of follow. So the point of this game is to kind of eat as many strawberries as you can before Adabot dies. There's a little timer up there that tells you how much time you have. And
it's strawberry themed, everybody so far.
Yeah, and there's like these particle effects that are kind of going there. And that was just one little code block that I dropped in there. And I had fun making the little bloops, little arpeggios. That's my jam.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and making
Chat
of
with
course
JP
artwork
because
too.
he's going to be doing an audio themed guide soon.
Can I stop? Should I stop? No.
You should probably
Yeah.
stop. We have to keep going.
Cool.
We
All right, well,
love
let's-
working with strawberries all day.
It's amazing. Go to makecode.arcade. Wait, arcade.make? It's one of those. We have guides.
Yeah.
There's links in the description.
All right.
I have a Makecode shirt.
We'll get you there.
All right. Bye, guys.
All right.
So much. And we'll be playing the videos and more on Ask an Engineer tonight, along with I think it's the lightsaber
Yes.
setup.
All right. Next up, it's Makecode, not Makecode.
Yeah.
Hi, Mike.
Oh,
We can't
Mike,
hear you.
You are
Your
muted.
mic is not on. There's a lot of.
Now?
Yeah, hey, there you go.
Okay, cool.
Mic is mic'd.
Okay, so we have we're going a little bit back to where we were. We all love the microbit, and I know Pimoroni, they have a lot of great microbit products, and Adafruit hasn't made as many, but we have the Cricket, and it's an awesome board for your microbit or your other boards that we support. But we haven't had any tutorials where we have Python running on the microbit and Cricket. So Lemore made a driver for using the Cricket and microbit in MicroPython, not CircuitPython, but MicroPython, which runs really nice on the microbit. So I'll fire this up and try to tilt my camera to it, and you can see it, all the blinky There we go. Yeah. You're not
Okay.
blinky, but
We're hearing
real
the-
time. Yeah. So I've got my servo going and reset my. Okay, you're going. Did I drop a ground here? That would. Yes, I did. So, you don't have a ground. So, real live. There we go. So there's the
Yeah.
blinky and the servo. It also I didn't put it on. It drives a motor too, and we've got a full guide on learn.adafruit.com on how you can code this up. It uses the Moo editor, our favorite editor in microbit mode, and there's some tricky stuff as far as using Moo on microbit versus Adafruit products or some of the other modes. So the guide goes through and tells you some of those tricks and techniques and gets you started using MicroPython.
Okay, this is you've been doing so much CircuitPython. Hopefully, it was an excursion to do.
It was a nice excursion, but your help in piloting was much appreciated.
Yeah, I also had to I was like, how do you upload files? Oh, it's weird. All right, thank you, Mike, for the guide, and we'll talk about that on the show. Next up, JP.
Oh,
We also have some
JP,
mic issues.
You are muted.
No.
Do you want us to come back to you?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah?
All right, Collin.
We'll go to Collin and then we'll go to JP.
Do you have a mic?
I do. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Yep.
You sound good.
Oh, great. So
Hey, there's a cat.
things. Oh yeah, she really does show up. Like when I
It's
go
true.
on the show, she wants to be seen. So yeah. Anyway, circuit board design. I wanted to learn Keycad. Keycad? No.
Keycad?
I think it's
I'm
Keycad.
calling it Keycad for now. And I decided that I also wanted to make a keyboard actually for a while. So I wasn't sure how I was going to do that. So I'm going to make a little test keyboard first. And I designed in Keycad like a little mini one. And I was planning on using the Itsy Bitsy. So I wasn't sure what to connect where. So I made a little reconfigurable test macro board.
Ooh. That looks
So-
like those old adding machines. They had
Yeah,
those big
yeah,
chunky black keys.
So this is Tex Ada caps that are made to that hark back to the past of keyboards
They're
past.
nice.
And if it focuses, it'll be even nicer. So yeah, so this is an Itsy Bitsy, just wired up. You can see mine.
And you did this in Keycad.
Keycad, yes, all those.
And then what you etched it, is that the other mill? What did you use there?
That's other mill, yeah. It wants to, yeah.
And
Works
which
pretty
kind of
well.
keys? Which kind of keycaps did you use? The key buttons.
These, I know you're a big connoisseur. You want to know, right?
I just wanted to see your little remover.
Yeah. Oh, you love this thing. Specialized.
It's amazing.
This is a stainless steel
I'm
one.
not thrilled. Like, oh, you're going to be doing this for like 20 hours a day.
Yeah.
So you need it to be like comfortable.
Yeah, you get it. You get the joke. Yep. Yep. It's about the weight, Miss Freeze.
Yeah.
You know? It's about the yes.
It feels like quality.
All right. But since you did ask about these switches, for us clicky key switch connoisseurs, it was a long time coming to have a good feeling clicky switch. And this is a new one that actually feels good. So we don't have to go seek out Blue Alps anymore and pay like $2 each for them or more. So that is what I'm going to be developing my larger keyboard from. Hopefully.
Nice.
Nice.
All right, you should run CircuitPython. Talk to Scott about
I was going to talk to Scott about that. I will
should.
talk to Scott about that.
that.
Here it goes right.
Scott's like, talk to me about
Yeah,
that.
talk to the game board.
And also, you can't tell from the camera, but the board is strawberry flavored.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, don't eat it.
Okay.
I don't think you want to know.
Let's go back to JP.
Okay, JP,
and see
you
how
wanna-
his-
How about now?
Now is great.
So great.
Good. I want to borrow that little tool and whisk like a quail egg with it.
Like a very small egg.
Very small egg whisking, Colin, if I may.
Chinese omelet.
And then spread strawberries on top, perhaps.
You are welcome to it anytime. I'll just ship it over to California for you.
Thank you. That's perfect. So I'm going to switch cameras because I, too, am doing a thing with a pibadge. So I want to show you up close. This is going to be a sort of Space Invaders-esque game. Oops, let me reset it.
Wow, that's exciting. You hard faulted.
I'm going to unplug because it's trying to connect to my computer. There we go. So you might also be able to hear, I've got some sound effects on this one.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
And so we're going to look on my next guide and on the show tomorrow at how to make a game like this, including some things like not being able to just spam the button and throw as many missiles out there as you want. These are actually little static discharges, electrostatic discharges from Sparky, the blue smoke monster, who's taking out some poor innocent IC chips.
They just want to be friends.
They're not going to get to be friends because that's not how Sparky rolls, unfortunately. So we'll take a look at that, and this is all done in Makecode Arcade, which continues to impress me at how fun it is to develop games in it because it's super iterative and visual and graphical. So we'll look at that. And if I have another second, actually, I wanted to show a little side thing I'm doing. Speaking of all these Game Boys, so this is an old DS Fat, the Nintendo DS original. They call it the Fat just because it's so big and honking. And it was kind of broken, and you can see here I've taken the top screen off, and I soldered a little 330 ohm resistor to the backlight contacts that go to the top screen so that it still behaves. And you can actually configure these to just play Game Boy Advance games, but it's a much nicer screen. Whoops, there goes the end of that game. It's a much nicer screen than the Game Boy Advance ever had, so because it's backlit. So I'll turn that on, you'll see nice-ish backlit screen. And by comparison, I've got a Game Boy Color here, which is basically the same reflective screen that was on the GBA. And yeah, you can barely tell when it's on, especially if you don't have some bright light pointed at it. So I was looking at backlight kits, and it's actually quite a pain in the neck to do a backlight, but I had this old Game Boy DS or
That's an interesting hack too. You just peel the top off and
yeah,
then
it's not too involved. You kind of remove a speaker out of this top case and find a space for it in here and solder it down where you want it. And you get fancier than that if you want. I'll probably remove this hinge plastic here and Bondo it over, or use some Sugru or something like that, or maybe even 3D print a new top case. I don't know, but
you 3D printed like a Game Boy holder too, which is
that would be kind of cool. Yeah. Oh yeah. I printed some games holders and some stands to set stuff. So I'm going nuts with the Game Boys lately. But it's just super cool that these first DS and the DS Lite, which came after this, both have a GBA port on there besides the DS port on top. So they're pretty good for this sort of thing. Unfortunately, the only game I could find is my son's Jimmy Neutron game. So I've put in an order for some decent Mario stuff to play on here. So
okay.
So that's the Game Boy update here, and
Yeah, everyone's got Game Boy updates.
It's that and strawberries.
Strawberries. That's the theme of the day. All right, next up, let's check in with Lucien. Hello. Thanks for being patient. You want to unmute your mic and say hello? We can't hear you. We can see you.
Sorry, I just had to find the unmute button.
Yes, good work.
Yeah,
No,
so yeah, I'm just kind of a random Adafruit customer, and I wanted to show off something I've been working on.
Okay.
Which is this kind of horrible alarm clock based off of the DS3231 on the Adafruit store and the associated libraries. So the way that this thing works is, it's just a regular alarm clock, except that you attach it to your ceiling. And then it has 3 nodes. It has this thing, which is what stores the time and goes off and has the temperature correction, so it keeps time for a really long time. Then you have this node, which attaches to your door, and all of these are connected by an NRF 24L01 wireless system, which can tell whether your door is closed or not. And then you have this other node, which is attached somewhere else in your house, like on your bathroom door. This can also tell when it's on or off, and this is also where all the settings are. So you can, get in here and change your hour. Let's see, get in here, change the hour and the minute.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. And so the way that this works is that the alarm goes off, and it will not turn itself off until you have exited your room, closed the door, and then gone into the bathroom.
Okay. So
If you then re-enter your room,
you have to be somewhere
it will-
alive.
Hmm?
You have to be
you have
somewhere
to be
alive.
somewhere outside, and if
Okay.
you walk back in, it will automatically turn your alarm clock back on.
Oh boy.
All right.
I
is it
think
working
this
out
is
for you?
probably one of the most un-shenanigansable alarm clocks
Okay.
that exists.
What does your morning self think about it?
I hate it. I hate it a lot.
But you're on time.
but I'm on time. Yeah. So, yeah, it's just it's a horrible alarm clock for lazy people, and
Okay.
yeah, just
Okay.
wanted to show it 'cause
Whatever
it
it takes, man.
ended up being. I wanted to show it on Show and Tell. I came on Show and Tell a couple months ago to show off my SpudWrite typewriter, and I wanted to show it off. I think I came up with this thing like first prototype of this like 2 weeks after that, and then because it's it had to have all the low power code and it had to have all the wireless code. It ended up taking all that time up till now to debug it. It was
All right.
That's right.
it was unreal.
Hopefully you weren't staying up really late, so then you'd be extra tired in the morning, which would make it even harder to get up.
Oh no! It would go off in the middle of the night. It would reset its own
Oh,
time.
debugging was fun.
It was it would act normally for the first 6 hours, and then it would change its own time, but only after 6 hours. So I had to wait 6 hours to get the bug to recreate itself.
Yeah.
It was a good time. It was
That's good timer overflow action.
Okay. Well, while you're stumbling around in the morning, you'll now be able to see an as seen on Show and Tell sticker on one of the nodes. So email support@adafruit.com, and we will send you out a sticker. And the morning version of you will regret this project.
Yes, I already do every day.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
Nice work.
All right, thanks very much.
All right, Aidan.
Two more people, or do
Hey.
Aidan and then Adam.
Adam.
All right. Welcome
Hey,
back,
Aidan,
Aidan.
welcome back.
Hello, thank you. So because I'm almost finished with high school, I'm like basically done with classes and have like a lot more time to pursue some like much bigger projects that I've like never really had time for before. And so the first step of one of those is here with this fairly inconspicuous plastic cube.
Looks fine.
But what's
Looks like a normal
interesting about it is,
Nothing suspicious about that cube. Wait.
oh, hold on.
Oh, it's on moves. So.
Moves.
Cube is suspicious.
All right.
How is it moving?
How you doing that?
Not going straight right now, but I'll get around to fixing that later. But basically, yes, it's this little plastic box that drives around, and it's actually a magnetic case for this robot underneath. And it's a very small, compact robot, and the goal of it is to build a bunch of these, each with a different color magnetic hat. And I'm going to connect them all together with Wi-Fi because these all run on the Feather Huzzah boards, and I'm going to do some swarm robotics with them. So
Yeah, now you're going to college. That's totally what you do in college. Just making swarm bots.
exactly.
PhD skin on there, mesh networking. You're done.
I'm watching.
Yeah, but I'm watching.
I want to basically build a platform to experiment with swarm robotics, and I got this Pixie Cam, and so I think I'm going to have a bunch of these guys, each with a different color. I'm going to track them with the Pixie Cam and coordinate their motion over Wi-Fi.
You basically have your AI final project done.
Yeah, exactly.
Your computer science AI lab classes.
Yeah. So there we go.
All right. Well, have a great
Well,
summer.
Good stuff.
Thanks so much.
Build some
Yeah,
bots.
as you work on more things, you have more time, come back to the show and tell.
Yeah, we miss you.
I definitely will. I'll be
Okay,
back.
great.
We'll see more
And
of
look
me.
at your workshop is looking great too, by the way.
Oh, it's an absolute mess right now.
I know.
But,
Doesn't mean you can tell something's happening.
yeah.
Good workshop is a messy workshop.
All right, you should see my desk. All right, thanks.
All right.
Ed. All right, next up, Adam
play us out.
and your microscopes.
Hey there. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Nice. So this is actually a scope we've seen in the show and tell before. This was the one I think I showed last time I was on the show and tell when I was in Pennsylvania packing it up. So I've got it on the ground here in Findlay, Ohio, setting it up for a university here. I had it running earlier. I didn't quite get a beam yet. The filament was burnt out, and there's a video there's a video signal problem, so I wasn't getting any images on my screen. Now, the microscope is controlled by a Windows NT computer that I'm reinstalling right now, so there's a Windows 2000 disk in there because Windows NT can't do partitioning correctly, so you have to use Windows 2000 to partition, which is a whole mess into itself. But this little fun setup right here, this is a very proprietary ISA card followed by a very proprietary PCI graphics card. Now, this thing displays a video signal on top of the monitor, but Windows NT is not fast enough to display that video signal. So they take an NTSC input into this proprietary frame store, and then the frame store loads that into the VGA graphics card, and the VGA graphics card overlays the NTSC signal on the part of the UI that the video is supposed to display on. So if that sounds like a nightmare to get working with drivers, it is.
Sounds like a word. What's funny is
yeah.
like Scott's like, you could easier just write the whole thing over in CircuitPython like you did with the Game Boy.
Yeah, well, I don't think CircuitPython quite supports SCSI at the speeds needed to operate this microscope.
SCSI support.
Well, no, we do support the fat file system. It's all SCSI underneath. Get your.
There might be hope. The software documentation on this thing is either non-existent or in Dutch, so that's fun. Yeah, so this is
Dutch.
the machine is made by Philips, so it makes sense. This is the cardec on the machine. The analog circuitry on this machine, though, it's really nice, and I really like working on these things. It's actually it's funny just how universal this machine is. There's transmission electron microscopes, but Philips is a big believer in reuse. So like these cards right here, the QCR cards, quad current regulators, are control the optics. It's literally, you'll see the same cards as on instruments built today, just because they make them that crazy universal. Anyways, I was hoping to have the beam up by now, but this Windows NT problem is throwing me for a loop. I pretty much found out that this hard drive kind of was just slightly corrupted, which was enough to throw everything off. So as time went on, the previous installation was getting worse and worse. And if you've never tried to install Windows NT on a very, very custom system, good. Don't ever do it. It's awful. So I've just been dealing with that for like 3 days to get this thing running with all of its custom drivers and everything.
All right. Well, sending you good vibes.
Yeah, and then a cool photo of the stage real quick because it is kind of cool. So it's a 5-axis motorized stage with a manual tilt, but it's very, very large, so we can put some really massive samples underneath this thing. So this entire thing is next to zero backlash and like sub-micron precision.
Wow.
So that's a fun part of the microscope.
I like to rotate inside so you can get all sorts of different angles. That's cool.
Yeah, no, and then the stage itself rotates, and then these parts translate to, it's all of it's spring loaded, so it's absolutely zero backlash, which when you're trying to, have sub-micron position on your stage movements, stuff like that's important.
Yeah.
All
right.
Yeah, so good stuff. We'll keep coming back as you get this thing running.
Yeah, I'm flying out of here next Wednesday, so I probably won't be able to make it on a show until then, but
okay.
I'll put some photos in the Discord if we're running.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Adam.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's our show and tell for tonight. Thanks for sitting in. Well, we're going to be doing your show and tell for your stuff that you brought on the show tonight. So
you have a full hour.
Yeah, so stick around. Thank you, everybody. You made this, once again, our favorite half an hour of the week. Thank you, Scott.
Scott, thank you, Phil B. Thank you, Noe+Pedro, Mike, Lucien, John, Collin, Sparky, Aidan, and Adam.
We're here every single week.
And the cursed NT install. That's like the new Harry Potter book.
Yeah. We're here every single week. We'll see everybody next week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're on the show and tell, email support@adafruit.com, and we will send you out an as seen on the show and tell sticker.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Good night. See you in a couple minutes.